Whitewashing Our Future, Part 3, Interracial Procreation.
In part 3 and the final series of Whitewashing Our Future, we will look at the history and survival of interracial procreation, fetishizing of interracial children, colorism, parental familial racism that occurs within an interracial family, also the disconnect between the non-melanated parental figure and the biracial child or children, along with biracial identity crisis. As I mentioned before in part 1 of the series, I myself am the product of interracial relations. My mother was Latina Indigenous and my father was Melanated Indigenous to Turtle Island. And one of the main reasons I wanted to create this 3-part series, because I find it hard-pressed to locate any content that gives you the perception that comes from the child that is created from these interracial relationships. In addition, I felt it was important for anyone who is considering to procreate outside of their race to have some type of content to look to prior to making such an important decision, because it doesn't only affect you and your significant other, it affects that child. I ask that you do keep an open mind as you watch the final part of this series, and I do hope that it allows us to make well-informed decisions prior to procreating, because as the saying goes, when we know better, we do better. This video was created for educational purposes only. The admix of the Neanderthal gene.
Now, really, this is going to sound silly, but this is really important. Cutting-edge genetics. One of the areas I'm really lucky I'm blessed to work in 3 distinct areas of biology: immunology, genetics, and reproduction. And on the genetics side, I get to go to conferences and hear about advances in genetics in all species. And I was just at one a couple of weeks ago down at the Cold Spring Harbor Lab in Long Island, and I learned a bit about what's being known about the genome of Neanderthals, the genetic makeup of Neanderthals. The genome sequencers, led by Svante Pabo, who works in Germany, has taken tiny little fragments of Neanderthal bones, isolated DNA, and determined the genome of the Neanderthal, and used that information to determine, using genetic methods, how long ago Neanderthals and humans were a single species, where the common ancestor was. They've also been able to compare human genomes and ask the question of whether there's any evidence of Neanderthal genes in the human genome. And they found that there is. And the amount is quite significant, upwards of 5 to 7%. Neanderthals used to live in the Neander Valley. You could have called it the Cayuga Lake Basin, but that's where they lived. And out of Africa came the modern humans, and the word the geneticist uses, admixed. They admixed with the Neanderthals. And they all used to live in caves in those days like this. Came out of Africa, admixed with the Neanderthals. This was Neanderthal territory. There was another group of Neanderthal-like creatures called the Denisovans. They lived up here in Siberia, and their genome has been sequenced. They were distinct from the Neanderthals. And so you can find in people of European and Asian ancestry evidence of about 7%, 5 to 10% of your genome is common with that of Neanderthals. We've been separated from them for 30,000 years or so. And in some of the tribes in Papua New Guinea and those islands out there, there's evidence for a different kind of genome, which is probably the Denisovan genome. And they might have 7% Neanderthal and 5% Denisovan. So they might be 12 or 15% different from us. And in fact, the Africans who came out from Africa have no evidence of any Neanderthal genes in them. No evidence of admixture. So they're the real pure humans. So they're the real pure humans. Homo sapiens. Really, really interesting, and it gives you a lot to think about.
The history and process of blotting out the melanated people.
Here is the answer. 3 generations. Half-blood grandmother, quadroon daughter, octoroon grandson. Now, as you can see in the 3rd generation, or 3rd cross, no trace of native origin is apparent. The continuing infiltration of white blood finally stamps out the black color. The Aboriginal has simply been bred out. Bred out.
Bred out.
Now, we come to the Moore River Native Settlement. Ladies, most of you are familiar with our work here. The training of domestic servants and farm laborers. I would like to thank you for your continuing support. Hundreds of half-caste children have been gathered up and brought here to be given the benefit of everything our culture has to offer.
Let me see you get gone. Baby mama, this your song. Been pregnant for way too long. Let's tell the DJ turn it off.
If she a baby mama.
Show our people how the mixed breeds help the white man to tell the lie. The ancient Kemet, ancient Cometian civilization was white civilization, and the race wars that took place that have created the confusion that we see today.
Okay, hold on. What that means, hold on. Here's something, this is really important. What black people have to start doing is, we got to start to tell the truth about ourselves, and it's not going to always make us feel good.
That's right.
Okay? And so everything about ancient Egypt was not, you know, just beautiful and this, that, and the other. We made a lot of mistakes. And the number one mistake that we made, we did take white wives. And because we took white wives, we began to make mixed breeds. And those mixed breeds, if you read Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of Black Civilization, page 295, he's the one who talks about it best. He had the mulatto problem.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Mulatto problem. These mixed breeds would be created amongst us, and how they would be used against us. You follow what I'm saying?
That's right.
And it has not changed. The ones you have to watch out for are the mulattoes. Racially, you're a double agent. You can come amongst me and say anything. Yeah, brother, I'm with you. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da. But then you also, in your mind, you know, you're not going to deny half of yourself from me.
I was out niggered, and I will never be out niggered again.
Survival of the fittest, the colonizers' attempt to combat their negative birth rate.
According to the United States Census Bureau, by the year 2042, Caucasian people in America will be the minority. By 2042, you're dealing with people whose bodies cannot sustain life. Right now, more white women's wombs are not able to hold a baby up to 9.5 months, and they're having miscarriages. So they're having more deaths than births, according to the United States Census Bureau. When you're dealing with a group of people who look at their livelihood and it is dwindling, there are actions that need to be taken. So not only do we have the black women being encouraged to have hysterectomies, but we have the white women being encouraged to have more children. You have the abortion clinics in 78% of the inner city neighborhoods, while you have the majority of fertility clinics in the rich neighborhoods. You have body parts. Black women are being encouraged to get hysterectomies, but those hysterectomies are not being petitioned to be received by trans men. It's very deep.
Wow.
Very deep. I know, curveball. I know. That's a good term.
With?
Emily B.
Emily B. Where are you from, Emily?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, that's awesome. So for you, black guys or white guys?
Black guys.
Okay, can you elaborate as to why specifically black guys?
Yes, black guys are melanated, and I want my children to survive. And I know that the only way for them to survive in the future is for them to have melanin in their skin. So that's a way for me to, you know, make my legacy continue. Make my legacy continue. Make my legacy continue.
Well, I'll be against interracial marriages, interracial relationships, because they don't give a fuck about you. They're literally using your genetics to keep their gene living. It's breeding. It's called breeding.
A growing trend fetishizing the procreation of mixed kids.
Black women saying, this is offensive. Why are you doing this? Why are you saying what you're saying? Like when you said, I'm gonna have a black baby.
Racist.
No, I just think, I don't know, I just have a thing for white boys.
That's interesting.
You know, a little vanilla and a little chocolate. They make you babies.
The issue is misogynoir, where some black men, not all, but some black men are only with white women because of the closer proximity to whiteness, and they put down their own women and own culture as a result. Us mixed kids need to combat that misogynoir as well as the internalized racism.
I cut off all my bitches.
Colorism within the black community.
Stitch this with your best "Hey, good morning," followed by your most uncomfortable historical fact.
Hey, good morning. The term blue blood comes from the Spanish phrase sangre azul, which the Castilian aristocracy began using in the early 1830s to refer to themselves. They used that phrase to express that they had been uncorrupted by Moorish blood or Jewish blood because their skin was so white that you could see their veins through it.
Hey, good morning. It's well known that in the early segregated 1900s, the brown paper bag test was used to qualify black people for select goods and services. In order to pass the test, a black person would have to be the same color or lighter than a brown paper bag. I would be disqualified. What's lesser known is that this tool of anti-blackness was implemented by black people against one another. Biracial and light-skinned black people formed what was called a blue vein society within the black community, wherein there is privilege, prestige, and power connected to a black person having a complexion light enough to see the blue veins underneath their skin. And this inherently white supremacist system of anti-blackness persists throughout the black diaspora to this very day. We out.
read off some colorist things celebrity black men have said. I don't want no black bitch, I'm already black. Light-skinned women more sensitive, they too tough. Retweeted that same Kodak quote. My daughter a dark-skinned billionaire, that's the difference between her and you. Beautiful black woman, I bet that bitch look better red. Light-skinned women usually have better credit than dark-skinned women, broke-ass dark hoes. Only wanna fuck black bitches with the nice hair. Let's not forget his no dark skins allowed club rule. All the prettiest kids is light skinned anyway, normally. With the red lipstick thing, I gotta be real, you gotta be fair skinned to get away with that. We got some pretty light skinned daughters we gotta raise. We in trouble, my nigga. Nigga can't stand no black ass bitch.
This tweet has gone viral, and especially in the quote tweets. Now, I thought it was just this one little clip of this guy's family, but no. It was a pattern of the same makeup. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the jokes, y'all. Baltimore biracials, Memphis mixed, Houston half and half, the Louisiana light skin, Jaden and Jalen convention at this point. We are headed to extinction. Curry, Clay, close the portal. National Big Lotto Association. They integrated the league only for it to return back to its original color. White blonde mom with a black bald dad. LOL, I thought y'all supported their preferences. The prophecy is being fulfilled. Black men making friends complain about biracial light-skinned men taking over like they aren't the reason for their existence.
Yo, we need to talk about this. Just because you're light skinned doesn't mean you look good. You're not more attractive because of your skin color. So sit down. We need to break this stigma that lighter skinned people look better. And FYI, a mixed baby can still be ugly.
Friend look like Michael Jackson. Got a dark-skinned friend look like Michael Jackson.
Biracial children tend to experience parental and familial racism and colorism.
You're right, and you say the N-word. I'm just telling you not to say it. That's it. Well, I'm not gonna have my child tell me what I can and can't do. It don't work that way, by the way. No, I was raised.
Raised?
Yeah, that's the thing. You were raised differently. This is a new generation. You can't. I'm just saying you can't say that. I'm telling you can't live here. So how about that?
Damn.
So you tell me I can't say something. You're being over dramatic.
Right.
I'm not disrespecting you by telling you, as a mixed person telling a white person, you can't say that.
Right.
That lets me know you don't have any fucking love for me, or you would feel
What?
You wouldn't feel that at all.
I don't have any love for you because I don't want my white mother to say the N-word.
Exactly. You're kicking me out. You are racial profiling against me, white, and a white person. Can't say that.
No. Children who have white mothers tend to be more exposed to internalized racism and colorism because of the lack of intersectionality among white feminists.
Untouched.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Stop.
Bitch, I'll whip your motherfucking ass, bitch. Try it. Go put your wig back on. That's the only time you look decent.
With or without?
With or without, bitch.
With or without?
Like a whole ass man.
With or without?
Okay, monkey. All right, monkey.
And that's why your daughter is half of a stupid tree.
Okay, monkey. Bye, monkey.
Because she's
black.
Because she's black.
Bye, monkey.
Leave it alone, Kate.
Bye, monkey. Bye, monkey. Go put your wig on. Stupid bitch.
Damn, what?
I will have people come over here and get you killed, so don't try me. No, so he decided to get my
that's
face
a
and
threat.
cut me
You
up.
could go to jail for a threat.
Bitch, you'll get killed too, so shut up.
And that's
so
a
shut
threat.
up.
That's a threat.
You'll get killed, so
That's
shut
a
up.
threat.
I'm at his
That's a
house
threat.
right
I'm
now.
not scared.
I'm at his house right now.
That is a threat. I know we're not scared. That is
I
a
tried to be
threat.
nice to let Malik see Eliana, and they went out.
That is a threat.
Like the niggas they are.
That's a threat. I don't care how you call me all the niggas in the world. Your daughter is half of it.
I don't know what mixed baby needs to hear this, but it's okay if you drop your white mom. It is. There are so many white mothers who sit here and they have mixed babies and then they literally destroy us. My mom, ever since I was little, has been calling black women disgusting and loud and dirty and arrogant and ghetto, and for some reason she fails to realize that I am the same woman that she is talking about. She fails to realize that there's no difference between us. The only difference is the slightly lighter complexion. That's it. Y'all sit here as white women and you have black and brown and Asian children, and then you literally talk about us like we can't hear you. You talk about how we're disgusting and how we leech off the government and how we're not even from America and how we don't even need to have protests for things because everyone's created equal in the first place, but then you date white supremacists and bring them into our own fucking houses. and you expect us to be comfortable. You expect us to be comfortable with your husbands that wear Trump hats. You expect us to be happy and accepting that you want to go out for shots of tequila and make fun of every man in the room and say, I bet his name is Juan. I don't find that funny. I don't find the joke in that. To make fun of everybody's fucking race except your kid because you, for some reason, have the capacity to think that they're different, to think that they are you, when they have never been a part of you in the fucking first place. I don't get it. I don't get how y'all can pretend that your kids don't hear and then be absolutely baffled when they finally do. And they finally don't want to be around you. So for the kids that have grown up in environments in the exact same that I have, I don't care if you're afraid of not having parents. I'm afraid of having a parent that can't even see who I am when I'm looking them right in the face. And the fact that I don't even have a parent that knows who I am, it's pretty much like having none anyways.
It's the shocking moment a white woman said this to a black bakery worker in New York City.
Why?
The video, recorded by a bystander, showing the woman denied service by the employee after refusing to wear a face mask.
I can't wear a mask, sir. Why can't you?
Security at the scene attempting to de-escalate the situation, but things took a turn when the woman hurled a racial slur.
Ma'am, he's not going to serve us, so please leave.
Why?
Oh my God.
That's what he is.
The woman doubling down on the racist insult next to children that appeared to be with her.
Disgusting. You have a baby who's big.
Mom was definitely like this before she had me, before they met. And she, like, the family was worse. Like, honestly, they had a nickname for my dad. It involved the N-word. That was really hard to find out.
Yeah, children with white moms tend to be a little anti-black. And I was like, shoot, I got a white mom. I will admit that there was some definite anti-blackness, like, stuff when I lived with my white mom.
The effects of the non-melanated parental figure due to the disconnect with their biracial children.
What's going down is that we have a black man, his name is Nick Harris, and he has a biracial daughter with a white woman. And so he had the daughter for the weekend, and he took the daughter to go get her hair braided, and then dropped the daughter back at the mother's house. And the mother ended up texting him. Basically, she was upset at how her daughter's hair looked. She felt like her daughter's hair looked too black, and she was saying, you know what, I consider my daughter more white. My daughter is biracial, you know, she's more white. I don't like her having these ethnic styles. And they're arguing, and they're going back and forth. I want you guys to go ahead and check out these series of text messages that he posted onto Facebook. Check this out, I'm gonna come back with the rest of my commentary.
You have a white mom without telling me you have a white mom.
I'm mixed, half black, half white, and I have very, very curly hair. It's not done now, but here's a photo of me where I look much better. But growing up, my mom just had no idea what to do with my hair, and so here are a few of my school photos to show you. So the first hairstyle that we have is putting my hair into pigtails and then adding smaller braids because my hair was just too thick to just have a normal pigtail style. The next one would be putting my hair up in a bun and doing one of these weird like hair pieces because my hair was just too hard to control that I had to use fake hair. But the best one of all, guys, I have curly hair. It's not meant to be straightened, and she let me go to school picture day looking like a rectangle. So Mom, you tried your best. You tried your best.
I'm a mother of a mixed child, okay? I'm not here to teach my son racism. I'm here to teach my son to be a productive member of society. I'm here to teach him to be a good man, a good human being, not a good black. I'm teaching him to be a good human being. That's it.
This is literally what mixed children, particularly with white mothers, are fucking talking about. Y'all raise these mixed children and children who are adopted by white families that don't understand you cannot treat your child like they are white when the world is going to treat them like the race that they are. You are only protecting yourself from having to do your fucking job. Your failure is going to make the landing that they have when they realize what the world is like so much fucking harder. You're ignorant. Shame on you.
On Facebook about neocolonialism and white tourism in the Bahamas, and here's my white family's response. My main problem is with this first sentence. Please remember that you're half or more white. That is so out of pocket. Like, how are you just gonna assume that my ancestors were sexually assaulted? Like, offer it. You clearly don't know how race works because, no, I'm not half white.
I'm racially 100% black. Just like my mom has green eyes, but that doesn't mean I'm half green-eyed. My experience is black. That's all I know. I won't be half denied a job. I won't be half murdered by the police. I am black. That's it.
When I say that interracial relationships and multiracial people will not solve racism in the US, this is what I mean. Some parents of multiracial black children have often otherized their children and otherized and fetishized their romantic partners to such an extent that they no longer see them as racialized people with racialized experiences. And this is not to say that they have graduated to a post-racial ideology or to colorblindness, but it is to say that they have made decisions to ignore racialized experiences and the racialized identities of people that they claim to love, to prioritize their own comfort in having to deal with and talk about race and racism. If you are a parent to any child, and especially a child of color, raising them as raceless will only ill-prepare them for a world that is racialized and is much less forgiving.
From one white person to another, it is not enough to raise your mixed child colorblind. Because although you can tell them, you don't see color, love looks no different way, there is going to be somebody that looks at your child and sees their color. And what are you going to do that day? Non-white spaces, they have similar talks about how to keep themselves of that particular race safe. And it's usually initiated by their parents. And so I want to ask, are you going to have that conversation with your kid before anything happens?
Urban Black Kid Edition. Put a finger down if you've met one of your friend's family before and turned out that their parents were racist. Put a finger down if you did not understand black culture references growing up because you didn't have any black friends. Put a finger down if you've had friends compare their tan to your black skin after spring break. Put a finger down if you've been called an Oreo. Put a finger down if they've said you sounded white because you speak proper. Put a finger down if you have to be more cautious than your friends about typical suburban mischief. Put a finger down if people assume you're good at sports because you're black. Put a finger down if everyone looks at you to demonstrate new dance crazes because you're black. I'm not Chris Brown. Put a finger down if people doll up their slang when they talk to you. Put a finger down if they've stared at you during history class when we talk about slavery. And put a finger down if you feel the constant pressure to represent your entire race and not just yourself.
Biracial identity and cultural crisis.
Elementary school, I remember telling people that I was white. I never said black. And if people asked, I would say, oh, well, white and black. I would always put white first. And I hated my hair. I hated it.
Thank you. 4C can suck my ass, is what 4C can do. 4C can, I don't know what, 4C can bend over and lick my ass. Good luck trying to finger comb it. Good luck trying to put a white tooth through it the first couple of minutes. Jesus Christ. Why even if God was like, let me get this bitch 4C hair just so that she could grow bald? You know what I mean? My shit falls out. But I never actually look bald. But my shit falls out. Maybe because it's thick, it seems like a lot of hair's coming out. But when I take my when I comb, take on my braids, brush, so much hair. Bitch, so much hair. And I make these little, sometimes it's fun because I'll make these little balls. I'll take my hair, right? And I'll be finger combing it in the shower or whatever. And a lot will come off. So I take it off my fingers, take it off, put it in my hand and roll it into a ball. And by the end of the 3-hour shower that I've taken, I have a little community of little perfect spherical hair balls. Isn't that yummy? Curly hair can suck my dick. I fucking hate this shit, bro. It's not fun. I'll leave my hair. There's probably a 1-inch layer thick of residue, buildup, oil, all of myself. I'm a nasty bitch. I don't touch my fucking hair. Yes, you take the hair and when it's wet in the shower, you stick it on the wall. Bitch, I love it. What the fuck is there to love about my fucking scalp feeling like it's on fire all the time after I take my fucking braids out? Fuck that. Fuck that. Pop.
My family tried to raise me with some context of where black people were situated within the world. I still really struggled with my own identity for a very long time and understanding that the world was judging me every which way because of my race and because of particularly how I looked in relationship to my race. So I have 2 instances. The first one was when I tried to be a model and I thought every single microaggression that gets levied at black women. My hair wasn't right, my eyebrows weren't right, my nose wasn't right, my face shape wasn't right. I am a very light-skinned, mixed-race woman, and, anything that they could nitpick about me was a microaggression related to my blackness. But at the same time, I had friends who were critiquing me for being too white. I had a white friend who wouldn't stop fucking saying the N-word, and when I would ask her not to, she would say that I didn't get to be an authority on it because I wasn't really black. So
maybe don't, if that's already the shit your kid is gonna face simply from being mixed race, maybe don't make things additionally harder as a parent by raising them with no context for what their existence is gonna be like. Maybe take them to that black hair salon. It might be a little bit harder for you to stomach your privilege in that moment, but it will make your child's life exponentially easier so they don't feel like they have to chemically relax their hair for years to fit in with their white class because they're mocking them for their curls. Another thing that happened to me, I was raised in proximity to blackness. What am I doing? The world fucking hates me. So yeah, maybe just like be better. Thanks Aunt Karen for calling this woman out, because fuck me. Like, y'all are just making it hard for kids out there, and it sucks.
It's because as a kid, like I was having like a mini identity crisis at way before I should even be thinking of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't feel like I fit in on either race, like, or any side of my family. Like I would be at white family functions and feel like I ain't really fit in like that, and then on the black side I ain't feel like I fit in like that. You know what I'm saying? So as a kid, it's real confusing. Now that I'm grown, my name a lot of y'all can kiss me. But back then, it was definitely confusing, and I think people they try to silence the experiences of a mixed person because I don't even know why, but they try to silence the experiences of a mixed person. So that's why it's like the successful mixed people that you name it, they don't really speak on that because it's not acceptable to speak on that. You know what I'm saying? They take it as like you trying to compare your struggles to another race's struggles or anything. Like it's not about that. It's just I'm mulatto and I'm telling you about my experience. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that, and I feel like if you don't understand that, then maybe it's just a conversation for you.
That's what.
Growing up, I put down African American on any papers that required me to classify myself into one single race. My only other option was to define myself as other. And that to me felt very degrading and dehumanizing to do. So why would anybody want that? Why would anybody want to be seen as other and to view themselves as other?
You recently shared that, and this is your quote, being a biracial woman has given me an identity crisis that I'm only now beginning to sort through. Can you expand on that a bit for us?
Absolutely, and I think you nailed it when you said, you're stuck between two different worlds. So, I've grown up being not white enough to be white, but not black enough to be black. And all of that is based on whoever I'm talking to, where I am, the time of year. I have a friend who says I'm her half white, half black friend because I'm white in the winter and black in the summer. So, you're always just trying to figure out where exactly you belong. And, I saw a meme the other day, which was someone looking on a form to tick a box and there was black or there was white. And where do I go? Where do I fit in? Where am I allowed to fit in? When it comes to emotions, what am I allowed to feel when it comes to either race, and how do I connect with either side?
You just wasn't never black enough, and then you wasn't never white enough, so you weren't no confused mulatto niggas. I know you niggas very well. Most of you niggas are confused. Y'all niggas always mad. Y'all niggas always find a struggle. Y'all always find something to get into. Cause probably your white granddaddy said he hates your black ass, and and the niggas you knew in your family that was black never respected you enough. So you was just always a fucked up, mad, angry kid. So I get it, nigga. You always mad. Kudos to you, nigga. Go to counseling.
My child to look like me. Every intelligent person wants his child to look like him. I'm sad because I want to blot out my race and lose my beautiful identity. Chinese love Chinese. They love the little slanted-eyed, pretty brown-skinned babies. Pakistanis love their culture. Jewish people love their culture. A lot of Catholics don't want to marry another Catholics. They want the religion to stay the same. Who want to spot up yourself and kill your race? You a hater of your people if you don't want to stay who you are. You shame what God made you. God didn't make no mistake when he made us.
Y'all sub up to Letitia too, cause she be dropping that real shit.
Yeah, shout out to Letitia.
Letitia, that shit hit me cracking the fuck up.
Shout out Letitia.
Oh yeah, especially my sister Letitia, boy. She's already here.
I'm about to shout out Letitia. Now you know feel it to Letitia's quick chat. Shout out to Letitia, y'all. Those editing skills are very sharp. I'm loving it. Subscribe to her channel.
Letitia's be getting them.
Yeah, Letitia page is hot. Letitia page is lit.
Go sub up to Letitia. So show the sister some support.
Yo, definitely sub up to Letitia Third Eye POV. Facts. Make sure y'all sub up.